Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Classes of Mail. My name is Alan Gigax, and today we're going to talk about the 1571, the Undelivered Mail Report, sometimes also known as the Curtail Slip. And before we get too far into it, I want to cover something right off the bat, and that is you are not authorized to delay the mail. You cannot delay the mail. That is not your place to do that. Management has to make that decision. If you are given mail today, you have to deliver it today. End of story. If for some reason the mail can't be delivered, you have to get with your supervisor and they make the decision to delay the mail. If they make that decision, then you have to fill out a Form 1571, and that's what we're going to talk about today. This is the kind of thing that gets carriers fired. You can be fired for delaying the mail if it is unauthorized, and it's a topic that's been discussed on ADA Arbitration with Corey Walton. I highly recommend that podcast, by the way. And one of the things he said about it is it's very hard to get your job back if you get fired for delaying the mail. So, best way to protect yourself is to use that Form 1571. That covers your ass to make sure that you don't get dinged for that delay. So now let's talk about the form itself. Up at the top of the form, there are boxes where you put, it says delivery unit, that's the name of your station. Route number is your route number or whatever route number it is where that mail is being delayed. And then date is today's date or whatever date that mail is being delayed. Under that, there are three vertical columns, and 6 horizontal rows. The horizontal rows indicate what type of mail is being delayed, whether it's flats, letters, samples, whatever it is. And then the columns indicate what class of mail is being delayed, whether it's preferential or other, it says on here, but that means non-preferential. Preferential mail is like first class, periodicals, priority, anything that's really never supposed to be delayed. And then other is non-preferential, standard, nonprofit, marketing, bound print and matter. These are all classes of mail that can be delayed up to the 3rd day, but if I haven't mentioned it yet, not by you. Management can delay that mail. In those boxes, you're going to put your estimate of how many pieces of each type of mail you delayed. So if you delay an entire tray of letters, that's around 400 pieces. If you delay a bucket of flats, maybe that's 60 pieces. If you're delaying your weekly ads, I know at least where I deliver here in Las Vegas, the ads are actually numbered. They all have a sequence number on them. So if I delay all my ads, I can just look at that last ad, and it's ad number 421, and so now I know I've delayed 421 pieces. Or rather, my supervisor has instructed me to delay it. So that's what you put in there. At my station, we actually don't estimate by the piece. We estimate by the linear foot. So a tray of letters is 1.75 feet. A tub of flats is a foot. And whatever other mail we're delaying, we take a yardstick to it and see how much mail there is. Incidentally, that mail will wind up getting held in the flat stacker bin right on the edge of your case, and that has a tape measure built right onto it, so you can easily measure how much mail is being delayed or how much mail is sitting there waiting for you. Under that section, we have the parcel post section, and we don't have parcel post here in Vegas, so I'm not really familiar with it. I presume that those routes are subject to having mail delayed just like everything else, so whatever you delay would go in there. Same sort of idea. And then under that, we get to remarks or reasons for non-delivery. Why didn't this mail get delivered? And the reason that I always put in there, and I recommend you do too, is instructed by supervisor. That tells the whole story. You did not delay this mail. Management instructed you to delay it, and that's why it's still sitting here. You can put additional reasons in there if you want, like I delivered to an apartment complex at the end of my day, and the office was closed, and unfortunately the mailboxes were in the office. So I wasn't able to get into the office to deliver the mail, so I had to contact my supervisor. Hey, this is the situation, and of course I had to bring the mail back. When I brought it back, I counted up all that mail, and then in remarks, I put instructed by management, and that the mailroom was closed at 5:30 p.m. or whatever time it was. And then under that, the and then you sign it, and you'll mark that you're either a full-time regular, a carrier technician, also known as a T6, or a part-time carrier, which would be like a PTF or a CCA, and then you sign it. Next, your manager or your supervisor, whoever fills out the action taken, and down at the bottom, probably the single most important part, is where they sign it. And that's them acknowledging, yes, I told the carrier to delay this mail. Then that 1571 stays with the mail until it actually gets cased up for delivery or prepared for delivery. Whether it's cased or maybe it's already ready to go and it just gets loaded into your truck. Whatever it is, that 1571 stays with it until that time. Now, after you leave for the day and that mail has been left behind, there is a possibility that an auditor will come into the station and look to see if any mail has been delayed. And if they see mail sitting at your case, you're busted, unless it has that 1571 to go with it. So that's what they're looking for. And the problem with those 1571s is they all look the same, and everything's written really small. And so from a distance, it's hard to tell what time, when the mail came in, when it has to go out, how long has it been sitting here. So to help remedy that, there is the National Color Code policy. So what can happen after you leave is a clerk might go around, pull all those 1571s, and replace them with a plastic placard. And they'll tuck that right into the mail. And the color of the placard will make it obvious from a distance what day that mail came in and what day it has to go out. So, for example, if the placard is orange, and it'll have written right on it that this mail came in on Saturday and it has to go out by Tuesday. If it's blue, then the mail came in on Monday, it has to go out by Wednesday. If it's violet, then the mail came in Tuesday, it has to go out Thursday, and so on. I think I have those colors right, but it doesn't matter. It says it right on the placards. Unless you're at my station, we don't have these fancy pants placards. Instead, we have colored strips of paper. And they serve the exact same purpose, and we have a chart up in the station that says this color means these days. So that's how we handle that. Still the same idea. You can tell at a glance what day the mail got delayed, what day it has to go out. So you come in on Tuesday and you see orange, hey, that's got to go out today. So non-preferential mail can be delayed up to the third day. Comes in on Tuesday, has to go out by Thursday. Preferential mail is never supposed to be delayed. If you get first-class mail today, it's supposed to be delivered today. But as we all know, sometimes it still happens. Things happen, road construction, police action, flooding. There could be any number of reasons why mail doesn't get delivered every day. Unfortunately, one of the reasons that mail is not getting delivered, and it's happening in cities throughout the country, is because the post office is so woefully short-staffed that we just don't have enough bodies to deliver every route every day. And so sometimes entire routes just aren't going out. So in those cases, as far as I'm concerned, it's even more important to fill out a 1571 because I don't want supervisors to be able to deny what's going on. If that mail's being delayed, there should be a 1571 that goes with it, and that 1571 puts the responsibility for this delay exactly where it belongs, on management. So, you always want to do this for all your delayed mail, even your weekly ads. At my station, there is a standing policy that on Tuesday, that's when our ads come out, it's usually a really light mail day. And so the supervisor will say, hey, we want to try to get everybody an 8-hour day today. Oh, those were the days. Anyway, we want to get everybody an 8-hour day today. So just take however many ads you can take and be done by 8. And it's just a standing order. So if you don't fill out a 1571, in theory, you can still get in trouble. And then the union would have to try to make the argument that, well, we have this standing policy at our station, and this should be allowed. This is something everybody does. But the union has to try to make that argument. And my recommendation to you, don't leave it in their hands. I don't know how great your steward is. I don't know how agreeable the higher-ups are. Don't leave it to chance. Just fill out a 1571. It takes 30 seconds, and it totally covers you. So I'll give you an example that happened at my station. This is something that new CCAs will do. You've probably seen CCAs do this where you work. They follow the instructions of management, but they're not always on the same page as management. So one day I was coming back to the station at around 6 p.m. and I see this CCA pushing his hamper back into the station, and it still has like 2 hours worth of mail left in it. And I know immediately what happened. The supervisor told the guy, be back at 6 p.m. I need you off the street by 6. And so he did as he was instructed. He got off the street by 6 because he doesn't realize that implicit in that instruction is that you're also supposed to get all the mail delivered and let me know if that's not going to happen. But he doesn't know that. He's new. So they told him to get off the street by 6. So that's what he did. So I go with him into the station, and I show him where the 1571s are, and I say, all right, you're going to have to fill one of these out. We go through all the mail that he brought back. We do our estimates, and then we bring it up to the supervisor. And she says, what? I didn't tell him to delay the mail. That mail's supposed to be delivered. And the kid's like, yeah, but you told me to be back by 6, and that, so here I am. And I agreed. I said, yeah, you told him to be back, so now this mail is going to be delayed. You've got to sign the 1571. The supervisor didn't want to sign it. She says, I didn't tell him to delay the mail. And I tried to explain to her that, look, it's still you deciding that this mail is going to get delayed. It's not up to that CCA. It's up to you. And she says, well, I'm not telling him to go to delay it. I said, okay, are you telling him to deliver it? Do you want him to go back out right now and deliver this mail? And the CCA chimed in. He says, yeah, I'm happy to go back out. I'll get it all delivered. She goes, no, it's too late. I can't send you back out. Well, there you go. It is management deciding that that mail's not going to go out. So the good news is there was no discipline issue to that CCA, and there was a talking to the next day about our communication efforts when we're talking to CCAs and we're talking to supervisors. Sometimes it's hard to believe that we are technically in the communication business because it is not always top-notch. All right, so anyway, that's the deal. That's how the 1571 protects you so that if mail gets delayed, you don't get tagged for it because, again, that can lead to serious discipline, and you don't want that hanging over you. So it is your responsibility to deliver all the mail that is assigned to you each day. You do not get to pick and choose what you deliver. You don't get to make the decision to delay mail. Only management can do that. And if management makes that decision and that mail gets delayed, cover yourself by filling out the Form 1571. Make yourself bulletproof. So, that's all I have today. That was a pretty straightforward one. I will see you guys next time. Take care.